Creative Magic What's up? This is Sarah Mack and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a six-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I'm here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi everyone, welcome. I'm so excited to introduce my guest today. We have with us Lorena Martinez, who is an actor, writer, speaker, and coach who is all in on the magic of creative joy. She launched her company BM Creative with a mission to raise joy, inspire courage, and ignite creativity. A professional actor for over 10 years, Lorena has performed on Hollywood sets, Tony Award-winning stages, and legendary comedy houses. She created and wrote a sitcom based on her immigration woes and recently signed a shopping deal with a major production company. As a speaker, Lorena developed a program called Hey Genius, Unlock Your Creative Power, designed to help corporations and organizations ignite a culture of creative genius and effortlessly stay at the forefront of innovation. Hi, Lorena. So great to have you.
Hi. It's so great hearing your bio and knowing your face is like okay.
Yeah, it's a good bio. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, before we dive in to talking about creative flow, tell us
Yes.
a little bit about your story. Like, how did you land and end up doing this kind of work?
Yes. Well, as you said, I'm an actor. I'm from Mexico. And so for a long chunk, I studied in the US, and for a chunk of my acting career, I knew that I had 1 year to get famous or I was going to be deported. And I knew that honestly going into studying in the US. I knew that was how things worked. And so, and I say this because that mindset of like having to be great or leave shaped everything that I am. And it made me just have to dream big because I actually don't have another option. Now I have a green card and I'm kind of grateful for that. But in that process of like figuring things out, I was pushed to my limit, and I had to write for myself because no one believed that I was Latina. I was missing out on roles because I didn't look Mexican. And I was like, I have 3 months. So that sort of pressure led me to write my own thing when I had never sort of even thought I could do it. And that process unleashed, I learned so much about creativity. And the lesson that I learned was, if I'm in my creative power, I'm happy. My life is great. If I'm not, I'm miserable. And so the lack of auditions was leading me to be miserable. And writing the show like returned me to my joy, and I developed like my own process to be in my creative flow. And it's like impacted everything in my life. And once I had like actual like tested ways to work with creativity, I started helping other people casually, and then I started coaching actors, and then I started realizing where my magic lies, and it really is in like helping you take the lid off your own creative process. And so I created a business out of it because I wanted something that aligned with my passion and love for acting that still gave me like power and creative joy, and like not have to be desperate for a role. And so everything now is like a little better, less pressure.
Amazing. So first of all, if anyone hasn't checked out Lorena's TEDx talk, you should go and watch it because she tells this story in like a really amazing way. And for anyone who's not familiar, when you say you had to get famous within a year, you needed to get the O visa. That's what you were going
Yes.
for, right? Yeah. So
I
the O
needed the
visa,
extraordinary visa.
right? Which is like
Yes,
crazy.
where you have to prove you're famous. Like you have to like have press and reviews at like awards, like, so yeah.
So
Sorry, it's the
how
O
did
one.
you end up getting a green card in the end? I'm curious.
Oh my God, a whole process. But short answer. I got the O one later than I needed it, but I got it. And
Wow.
then during that process, Trump had just won. So it was very complicated because immigration took a hit. But I was accepted for a green card, and then that process took like 4 years to get a provisional one. And I literally just got my actual green card like last month. And I've been in the States 18 years.
Holy shit. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
thank you.
I know that feeling. So yeah, I love
Yeah.
hearing other people's green
How
card
long have you
stories.
been in the US?
Um, on and off since 2015. I was like trying to figure it out. And then my green card process also took 4 years because of the pandemic and all the consulates closing. And I
Oh,
finally got it in end of 2021. So officially American since then.
do you
But
have the provisional or the permanent?
no, I have the permanent green card because I got married to my partner.
Delicious.
I was like, if you
Oh,
want us to live in the same country, we need to get married. So that's how I got it.
hi. Amazing. I thought about it, but no, I was not in love. So I was like, this is not one of my options.
Yeah, better to put pressure on your creative career than a relationship.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
I love
I
that.
feel validated.
So, okay. So yeah, so obviously during that year of pressure, you really felt, because obviously creativity doesn't respond well under pressure. So presumably you got a lot of lessons on what doesn't work for getting
Yes.
to extraordinary levels of creativity. So what were some of your main takeaways from that time?
I mean, this is my whole life agenda, and this is what the TED Talk really gets to. But what I started doing that freed me up was playing the way I used to play when I was alone in my room, like when I was a little kid. And I loved painting. And I started painting and experimenting with different techniques that I didn't know right before working. And this has revolutionized my entire life because it sort of it's a one-way ticket into the flow zone because playing gets you into like only enthusiasm focused, only gut. And if you feel like dancing, you dance. Like that sort of play is how the creative process needs to feel in order to get the goal. And so it took years of therapy and understanding like this concept at its core, but I was accidentally playing more and going to nature and exploring. And that really, once I sat down to write, I was having the time of my life. Selling the show and pitching it, that was a nightmare. But like the actual creating of it was exciting. And then when it was really well received, because I sort of like knew it was good. And then when people were like, you can write, and I was like, right? Like, I didn't know either, like, but it all happened because it was very fun and playful. And I mean, it's sort of my life story. So, like, it was a really fun journey, but the hustle felt very tense. But playing allowed me to disconnect from that for like a minute or two to go do what I was put on this earth to do.
Yeah, I just want to underscore that because I made a similar discovery and now it's a habit on my to-do list. It's
Oh,
literally like
good.
capital letters, play, even if it's for 10 minutes. Like I'll just sit down and play my guitar and just do whatever the fuck I want for like 10
Yes.
minutes. And
Yes.
whenever I consistently commit to that habit, like I'm way more productive. I make way more money. Like everything's more fun. I have more energy. Like it's just the
Yes.
magic
It is
source that
it actually is the magic source.
yeah,
Exactly. It's like where you believe that you can play with a cauldron and throw berries in it and actually make thunder happen. Like it's the real magic. And I in the past few months I've like ritualized it because I also really believe in the power of ritual. And now I'll show you, I'll put whatever I just worked on up on my little altar so that while I work, because I don't think I'm good at painting. And then I see what I do and I'm like, I can paint. I can do things I didn't know how to do. And to have that reminder as I work is so spiritual and so powerful. And I want everyone to play.
I love that. And yeah, I think when you unpack this as to why it works, you just articulated that perfectly. It's like so often when we're stretching ourselves or we're doing something scary or we're doing something new or we're like learning a new skill, it brings up our insecurities and we have those feelings of not feeling super confident or, imposter syndrome comes up or when we have to sell ourselves or put ourselves out there or become visible and all those insecurities creep up. So when we have that time every day, like when you create something from nothing, it creates confidence. You're like, oh,
Exactly.
like I'm a
You fall in love with
magical
yourself.
human. Yeah, like look what I just did. And I'm the same. Like I just started painting again after not painting for years. And that there's nothing like that feeling of looking at some even a half finished painting. And like the colors are so beautiful. And like I made that and it's so fun to
Yes,
just look at it. So I love that. Okay. I want to hear more about your rituals. Like how have they
yes.
evolved? Like what do you do? Like what when you say ritual, like what do you mean by that?
Yes, I love this question. To me, a ritual just brings sacredness and intention to whatever you're doing. So it could be your morning ritual, it could be before you eat, but to me, it's about connecting. To me, creativity is a collaboration with the divine. However you relate, it's with that source of creation. And so it is the most sacred process for me because it's when I am actually in direct communication with God or goddess. Like, so I make the entering very intentional and purposeful, and I pray and I paint and I put the four elements, so like wind, water, fire, and earth, on my altar. And it just, what it does is it like creates emotions that make you feel powerful and ready, and then something magical happens and you're like, we're here, we have arrived. And then from then you can be there for hours. But like finding a ritual to intention, and it doesn't have, I go all the right now I'm on a retreat, so like I go for a hike in the morning, it like the whole retreat is a ritual. But on the day to day, even if you just put like an image that sparks joy and you play and you pray and set an intention, you're like intentionalizing your work in a very powerful way. And the most exciting thing about the creative process is that you don't know what's going to happen, but that is also the most terrifying thing. And I think this ritual sort of helps you trust that you're doing your part, you know?
Right. And I think having those anchors that feel really good also help to overcome creative resistance because you look it's something to look forward to. You're like, oh, I get to
Yes,
light my candle, like do that, play that song, or do those
the
things that I
songs.
know are gonna feel really good. So it's a way of like whenever you do feel resistance and like you're like, oh, I want to get sit down today, I want to be consistent. And then
Yes,
it's almost like an anchor that kind of helps you get into the zone.
it's huge. And
I'm
then there's, no, say, tell me.
no, carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, I have like I right now I'm writing a movie that I consider like my life's work. And I don't think I'm capable of it. And at the same time, I'm like, it has to be me. So a lot of the time when I don't think I'm capable of it, and I sort of see the grandness of it and I have no idea what to do next, that's when I like call in reinforcement and go on a retreat. And 2 days ago I was stuck, and I went to a lake and I like had to get back to write, but I was so happy looking at these ducks. And I was like, actually, I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna stay for as long as I want to stay, and I'm gonna enjoy for as long as I want to enjoy. And that decision unlocked the next wave of ideas, you know? So like when you are really stuck, it's when you need to play the most. When you have no time, that's when you really need space to get lost, which I love.
Love that. Yeah, I love that. So one thing I'm curious about is what are some of the ways that you bring the four elements into your ritual altar?
I'm gonna show you guys.
Okay. Do
So I have the crystals, and the crystals are the earth. And then the incense just flew out, but incense is the wind. And then obviously the fire, and the diffuser is the water. And then that's what I was painting right before I sat down with you.
That's so beautiful.
It's so sweet. It
So,
puts it
and
like casts a little circle.
right, and like you're traveling right now, so you literally packed all of these things and you
I
brought them
do,
with
I do.
you.
It's my least heavy crystals. It's my travel crystals. And that is like my watercolor journal. So I don't bring like my oils and my acrylics, which like I want to, but I have my travel ways. But also I'm here on a retreat to be
Mhm.
creative. I don't take it with me everywhere I go, but I at least have a little oil and a little crystal.
I'm interrupting this broadcast with a special announcement. Are you wondering which parts of your story to focus on in your content to attract ready to buy soulmate clients? Do you wish you had clear sales page copy for your high ticket offer with a stash of social media posts that lead to easy sales that fill your offer on repeat month after month? Do you wish it felt so easy and natural to talk about how you help people when you get interested clients popping up in your inbox? I can help you. In a 90-minute private coaching intensive together, we'll focus on the most important changes you can start making in your messaging to attract more paying clients into your offers. During our time together, we'll make sure your offer is actually targeted at the kinds of clients you really want to be working with. We'll tighten up your messaging or write it from scratch if we need to, and we'll map out a feel-good launch plan to start filling it up with amazing clients. You'll come away with powerful copy targeted at the kinds of clients who are truly ready to buy your offer and do the work, with a clear step-by-step action plan to start connecting with the right kinds of clients tailored to your strengths and audience. No cookie cutter approaches here. Plus, clarity on your own story and which parts to share to attract the right people, with a list of content topics and a few solid pieces of sales content that you can start sharing to make sales right away. Clients who have done my intensive have gone on to get 20 applications within 48 hours of hitting publish on their new sales page, tripled their workshop signups, designed and launched new exciting offers, raised their offer price above 5 figures, and signed new dreamy clients into their high ticket offer within days. To chat about how we can use our time together to start welcoming more amazing clients into your world, message me the word intensive either over on Instagram at Creative Magic Club or to my email, sarah@withsarahmac.com. I love that. So what are some of your current lessons that you're moving through in your own creative process?
Oh, what a good question. Um, a big one is once you learn the lesson, you don't have to learn it again.
Mm,
And the lesson that I keep being like, huh, is I'm doing enough
mm,
because I grew up kind of like rebellious and lazy. And so and I'm a Cancer. And so my way of like, I don't know, being me was just watching TV, eating, binging, and playing Candy Crush. Like I have these habits that have hurt me in the past. And so any waste of time, I feel really guilty about. And I'm here to write, and I had a very like intense writing schedule. And at times I was like, no, I want to be in the mountain for an extra hour. And so the lesson is like, you are doing enough. Being here and saying yes, you're not being lazy. I'm also like very honest with myself about, and when I'm tired and I just stop working. And sometimes I record myself like looking at the stars and I'm like, hey, we don't need to work right now. We could just chill. But if you want to tell me ideas, I'm open, you know? But taking the pressure off of like doing enough because the creative process is so, if it's not light and fun, it's not going to happen. And you have to be in a really, I think the work that you have to do is everything outside of that so that you can jump into this space, which is where healing comes in.
yeah, so good. And I'm curious because, obviously you've got your business, you're an actor, you're writing a movie,
Oh
like
my
that's
God.
a lot of creative projects in the cauldron right now.
Yeah.
How
So
do
many.
you, like how do you kind of structure your productivity and your
Yeah.
schedule around managing progress around all of these things?
I love that question. It's an ongoing experiment. Um, I used to think like during the morning, I'll work on the business stuff, and in the evening, I'll drop into flow. Like the things that don't need my genius in the morning, and then my genius. But that doesn't always work because then some days you can't. Um, what I sometimes a part of my career calls to me. So like last month I was offered to teach a workshop at a corporation and I had 2 weeks and I was like, well, focus. Like that's the only thing I focused on. And then for me, these retreats, these like sprints really, really, really work because I'm just all in on one thing. And then it's the discipline of trusting that the other stuff that you've put energy and creativity into is boiling up and is still active while I give something else my focus. But it's still an experiment. Like you just have to like, it's like toddlers where they're like they can sit up but you still gotta like, are you okay, we're good, okay, yes, yes, let's go play, yes, okay, um but I'm also in a stage of my life where I know this is the creative epitome. Like I'm single, it's me and my dog, and like the only focus right now is growing and creating the assets that hopefully later I'll have people help me and I'll have a team, and you know, it's just right now, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's so important to frame it as an experiment and know that like it's always going to evolve because that
Yes.
especially as women, right? It's like, well, every single week our hormones are different. So like it's
Oh my
not like
God.
you can get into this is the thing that works for me and then this will always work for me. And I feel like I'm going through or I'm trying to go through a bit of a shift in my own process. I've definitely been that person. Like I have a lot of fixed energy in my astrology chart. And so I'm like, when I get a daily habit, I'm like a dog with a bone. Like I'm like, I'll do it
Yeah.
every day and I'll be really consistent. And it works well for me to do a little bit of like most things every
Yeah.
day. And I don't know, I think as someone, especially as a recovering ADD person, it's like if I'm touching it every day, then I feel more of a sense of self-trust that I'm not abandoning the project, but I'm
Yeah.
starting to realize now, like, oh, actually, what I want is longer periods to do deeper work. And so that is going to
Yeah.
require me letting things sit over there for a little bit while
Yeah.
I go deep on this thing. And yeah, it's like a huge reconditioning process and it's scary. And
It's
I'm like,
so scary.
I
It's so
suck at
scary.
it.
No, but one thing that's really helped me, and I don't know how you relate to your projects, but to me, each one has a name, a soul, a personality. And I think we come from a similar background. So, but I talk to it like my best friend. And I'm like, hey, I love you. And this is the work that we're here to do. And I'm not going to like say anything to you today, but like, you've got this. And I cast a little spell so that like whatever needs to, like, that miracles happen without me, because I'm not going to make everything happen. And the whole thing is that I'm collaborating with divinity. So like, I love you. I'll be back. And like, just tell it that you'll be back.
I love
And
that.
it
No,
just releases a guilt somewhere in our body,
I definitely
you
need to
know.
try that more because I know that's true. And I've seen that like when I'll go away and work on something and then I'll, have something else in life that I'm focused on. And suddenly when I'm in that other thing, things are like popping off with that project that I just
Always,
walked away from. It's like,
always. It's like the rule of life.
yeah. Yeah. And I can't remember who put it this way to me, but it really resonated. It was like, don't be a helicopter parent to your business or your project. It's like when you're smothering it all the time, it can't grow and it can't flourish and kind of like take on
I
a life of its
love,
own.
I
So it's
love.
like, yeah, you have to, be there to water it, like continuing to nourish
And
it.
what you said about hormones, like our cycle, if we know how to work with it, and this is a whole other podcast, but like if you can work with your cycle, it it's nature, it's own like process. It will transform your life, and our cycle teaches us that we're not supposed to be at 100 all the time. And learning about it and working with those hormones and accepting them into your creative process, woo, it's so powerful because it's like you're inviting the feminine, you know
Yeah.
and the feminine is so, it's the creator. Obsessed. Okay.
Right. And I think, recognizing that it's a deconditioning process, like
Yeah.
throughout our education and our upbringing, have been very much conditioned to work in a certain way that like
Yeah.
doesn't fucking work for us.
No.
And
And
yeah,
yes, most teachers, male teachers, or like screenwriting books, they sort of need you to have answers in order to go write. Like you need
Mm,
answers to write. And the biggest revolution of my life is that you need questions. You need
mm.
thousands of questions and just keep asking and just keep listening for the answer. But like you can write with a head full of questions. You know, you don't need answers. You don't need to know your log line before you start. Like the discovery process has never been given its due. Like it's where it all is, you know? And so, and especially women, like I have a lot of women friends, they're like, I want to write a movie. I'm going to go to a class. And I was like, but first, find what it is from you. Like
Yeah.
you can find the how to from your own intuition first, and then tools and structure, and of course, but it's a revolutionary thing to like listen to your gut and let that move your process forward.
Yeah, and I think that connects back to what you were saying about really rooting into the enoughness of like, I am enough.
Yes.
Like, what I can
Yes.
do today is enough. What I'm capable of producing today is enough. My ideas are enough, which again is like, deconditioning the misogynistic programming that women are.
Must. We
Um,
must.
yeah.
We
And it's
must.
like, yeah, it's like the fertile ground of creativity is knowing that everything that I need, I have available to me today, right now.
In this moment,
Yeah.
all of it. Yes. And it's not just like a cool idea, it's like a fact, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that's why I come to the mountain. Like the furthest you can get away from patriarchal conditioning and the more into nature. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Because one of my
Yes.
friends, she's writing her book at the moment. She's like, I cannot write when I'm in LA. So she's every time I speak to her, she's like in another country or like, yeah, in the forest, like on a
It's
ranch.
real. Yeah. You know that meme where like we prefer a bear over a man if we're in the mountain alone? I think that's true for the creative process too for women. Like, and not, I mean, there's amazing men, supportive men, creative men, but they they function differently. Their process is different, and they're gonna want to give you solutions, and you don't want solutions for a while. Like, and if you know that, you free yourself up. And to me, like coming to nature, getting lost in the mountain and talking to trees, like any answers I'm looking for, I always find. And I think that says a lot, you
Yeah,
know.
you're
And
also making,
in LA, that's hard.
yeah, you just made me realize I wrote my book when I was living in the Bronx and I moved to like right next to Pelham Bay, like really far away from Manhattan
Yes,
and everything. And I was literally like, my desk looked over the bay and all I could see was water. And it just like
that's
unlocked
it.
this whole other level of creativity. And I wrote a whole book and it just came out of me.
Oh my God, of course. Oh, I love that. It's
Okay.
of course.
I'm planning my next retreat to finish this
Okay,
edit.
great. Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
booking a
I
cabin
wrote
to dig there.
62 pages. And when I'm home, I can't, I write two and I'm like, enough. Like I am exhausted, you know? Yeah. Please,
Interesting.
nature, guys, nature.
Okay. So, what would your message be to anyone who's like, I'm feeling kind of stuck in my process right now? Also, maybe just booking a retreat to another country in the forest doesn't feel like an option for me right now. Like, what are
Yes.
some things
Yes.
that are going to help me to have that breakthrough?
A big habit that has changed my life is I've created space every day. So space means disconnected from screens, absolutely no phone, no Apple Watch, like no electronics, and no agenda. So it's not even a meditation. It's like let yourself be for 10 minutes with no agenda. Your brain can go anywhere and let it. And what I do is I watch the sunset from my balcony every day, from like pink to orange to red. Tonight, it's about 20 minutes. And oh, it is the best thing you can do. Like find space. You can even, and it's not, I know people have kids and husbands, and maybe it means like an evening 10-minute shower, like wherever you can find, just which is, I don't know if you agree, but like we get great ideas in the shower for a reason. You know, there's like no electronics. We're by ourselves in our brain with no agenda other than to like get clean. So I think creating space, disconnecting from any social media that perturbs you, because our nervous system is like not designed to know everything that's happening at all times. So I think it's powerful to choose when you are open to receive information and when you are not. And you should not be pressured to know what's happening at all times or feel like you have to answer texts immediately. So I think what I'm saying is like a release from devices intentionally is going to unlock things for you. And of course, play.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. It's very simple advice, but we all know how challenging it is to be like, oh, 10 minutes with no device and no screens and like
Yes.
to sit there
That's
with
when
your
playing could
itching.
work. Like
Yeah.
playing is space because
Yeah.
you're just focus. You can't care about the result. That is the rule about playing. That's the only one. But it could also, it doesn't have to be a creative play. It could be like Legos. It could be playing with rocks. It could be a water balloon fight. Like play more, like experience that deep joy that you used to experience when you were a kid, and you will see your creativity soar. Like play is the most powerful way to connect to that part of yourself.
I love it. So what have you got going on right now? Where can people find you and learn more about your work?
Yes, thank you. I right now I'm writing a script, and I am so excited because I am now offering my keynote and my workshop, Hey Genius, which is designed to help people unleash their creative potential. I've already been teaching it, and I feel so privileged to get to do this work because I get to see the best side of people. And I see the spark that lights up when someone does something they're proud of. Ah, it's my favorite. So, Hey Genius, it's a program that I'm teaching, and yeah, my Instagram is LOREMTZ, Lore MTZ. Please watch the TED Talk. I think it'll really light you up. One of my favorite things about speaking is that I get to do it my way, which is theatrical and stand-up-y, and like I really get to, it was a creative joy building and structuring this talk, and I'm so pleased of how it's impacting people.
And I hope that you hurry up and finish your screenplay because I know about the project and I'm really excited about it.
Good. It's 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 so good, but it also is like I really believe, Sarah, with my whole soul, that this is like the work that I was put on this earth to do, the core of it all. And so the like it's just so big. But also I'm here. We wrote 60 pages this week. It's gonna happen one day.
So even if it takes 5 years, even if it takes 10 years,
Yes.
I'll be buying my ticket once it's on the big
Yes.
screen. And I'm
Yes.
very excited for that
Oh my
day.
God. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good
So
day.
yeah, keep at it. I'm cheering you on. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
sharing all
beautiful.
of your creative genius with us today. And thank you to everybody who's watching. I would love for you to keep in touch with us on Instagram, share your takeaways. Please share this episode with anyone else you know would benefit. And I'll see you next week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm interrupting this broadcast with a special announcement. Are you wondering which parts of your story to focus on in your content to attract ready-to-buy soulmate clients? Do you wish you had clear sales page copy for your high-ticket offer with a stash of social media posts that lead to easy sales that fill your offer on repeat month after month? Do you wish it felt so easy and natural to talk about how you help people when you get interested clients popping up in your inbox? I can help you. In a 90-minute private coaching intensive together, we'll focus on the most important changes you can start making in your messaging to attract more paying clients into your offers. During our time together, we'll make sure your offer is actually targeted at the kinds of clients you really want to be working with. We'll tighten up your messaging or write it from scratch if we need to, and we'll map out a feel-good launch plan to start filling it up with amazing clients. You'll come away with powerful copy targeted at the kinds of clients who are truly ready to buy your offer and do the work, with a clear step-by-step action plan to start connecting with the right kinds of clients tailored to your strengths and audience. No cookie cutter approaches here. Plus, clarity on your own story and which parts to share to attract the right people, with a list of content topics and a few solid pieces of sales content that you can start sharing to make sales right away. Clients who have done my intensive have gone on to get 20 applications within 48 hours of hitting publish on their new sales page, tripled their workshop signups, designed and launched new exciting offers, raised their offer price above 5 figures, and signed new dreamy clients into their high ticket offer within days. To chat about how we can use our time together to start welcoming more amazing clients into your world, message me the word intensive either over on Instagram at Creative Magic Club or to my email sarah@withsarahmac.com.